Hey, how's it going everyone? FM Journeyman here, and welcome back to A Dolphin's Tale. This is episode 4. In today's episode, we have a game against Concord and a game against Whitehawk, as well as a new tactic to talk about. Hello everyone, and once again welcome back to A Dolphin's Tale. In today's episode, as I mentioned, we go up against Concord and Whitehawk. But before we get started, let's talk about a new tactic. Now, I am going for a 4-3-1-2 formation. Here are my team instructions if you guys want to take a look. It's basically going to be playing a very similar style to what we have been playing at the very beginning of the season, but I've decided slight subtle changes are needed because our form really hasn't been that good. In the last episode, obviously we lost 3-0 to Hampton and Richmond, which was obviously a very disappointing performance, very disappointing result, which led me to a kind of a change in tactic. These tactic actually here was a 4-3-3 I was kind of messing with. I had in the previous save, and it did okay. 3-3 draw against Oxford City, with Richard Gillespie getting a hat-trick. So that was a pretty good bounce back from a 3-0 defeat. Then we lost 2-1 against Hungerford. Lee Unlove getting a goal on his debut. We'll talk about new signings in just a moment. Then we beat East Thurrock most recently 2-1. They had 2 players sent off, and Richard Gillespie getting 2 goals, and we only kind of just beat them. Not a great display, but a win nevertheless. And then most recently we lost 3-2 against Chelmsford. This is a game I thought we could win, really, and unfortunately the team let me down. As you can see, Robbie Wilmot gets in the winner, Richard Gillespie pulling one back in the 86th minute. So let's go over some of the transfers, some of the in and outs of the club. There's been a few moves made. So players I've brought in since the last episode. First up was Justin Roberts. I brought him in just to take a look at him, and unfortunately he was crap, so we're not going to talk about him. He actually was released straight away. Then I brought in Matt Ruby, very experienced defender at this level, plenty of games. 2.5 star kind of cone ability according to my assistant manager. Just another player just to try out in that position, because we've really been struggling at the back, conceding too many goals. Then I brought in Lee Unlove on loan from Brackley. He is a very good striker for this level, and I feel like he can get a few goals for us this season. Then I brought in most recently Reece Connolly, obviously a very talented striker. He used to play for Whitehawk, a team we're playing today, and Basingstoke and Eastleigh. I feel like he can get a lot of goals for me. He's going to be primarily used as a target man, just because of his strength, being 6 foot tall. I mean, pretty good all-rounded attribute, so he's going to be used as a target man in my new tactic. And then most recently, Sakuna, who can play pretty much everywhere on the pitch apart from goalkeeper. As you can see, very comfortable. His versatility is going to be very important to us. So players going out. Nick Hutchins, the starting goalkeeper at the very beginning of the season, I let him go because he was becoming very disgruntled after losing his place to Evandro. Then Marvin Brooks has also left the club. He wasn't very happy about not getting first team football, so I let him go. I don't want disgruntled players in the team, pretty much. So we're going into today's game up against Concord. Concord currently sitting 9th in the table, and we are currently in 15th. So we got a lot of work to do. We are conceding far too many goals, so the objective of today is going to be not to concede too many. If we can start doing that, we're going to start turning our results around. As you can see, look at these goals against record. It's pretty atrocious. So all right, let's go in today's game. They line up in a 4-4-2. Vandro is going to be the sweeper keeper. I've decided to play a sweeper keeper. Not quite sure how that's going to go. I'm first time using that in the game. Right back, it's going to be Richard Bryan. Centre half, the ball playing centre half, it's going to be Matt Ruby alongside Sakuna. Fullback, it's going to be Slocum at the attacking fullback role. Midfield, it's going to be... actually, let's start with the advanced playmaker first. That's going to be more difficult to fill. Let's do Corby Moore in that role. Then we're going to have Josh Wakefield as a boarding midfielder. A deep line playmaker, Sean Cooper. Another boarding midfielder is going to be James Granger. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to put Cooper as a boarding midfielder, and Wakefield is going to be the deep line playmaker instead. Target man, Reece Connolly for his debut today, and as a poacher, it's going to be Richard Gillespie, just because Unlove isn't quite fit enough to play, and obviously Gillespie scored 15 goals now in 16 appearances, I should say. So awesome return for him. He's having a stellar season. All right, so on the bench, we'll do Armin in goal. Poole, just for his versatility. He's just come back from injury, so still working his way back. Then we have Gleason, Balbaghi, and then we'll do Unlove as the backup striker. Alright, so going into today's game, Concord are favourites as you would expect. We are playing away from home. Let's go to the team instructions, the team talk, and let's try and get this game started. As I mentioned, I think I'll be happy with a draw today. I'd like to avoid conceding too many goals. So let's go and kick off today's game. Let's see if we can get off to a win. Alright, about 30 minutes in, here's a chance. Moore's going to whip it in, and Sam Collins has brought down Granger in the box, and it's going to be a penalty here. This is a good chance to go 1-0 up, and the game's been pretty even so far. Not many teams have created too many opportunities. This is the first highlight. Let me see, Connolly's going to step up for his debut. Let's see if we can get a goal. This would be a great start for him. Connolly steps up and smashes it home. What a great penalty from Reece Connolly. A new hero is born for the Dolphins, and very good penalty. Obviously, good start to the game, being 1-0 up. As I mentioned, it's pretty even though, so the game still can go either way. Connolly's beautiful penalty in the side netting. Keeper had absolutely no chance. Alright, here's a chance though from another corner. Moore's going to clear it to Maloney, and Evandro makes an absolute mess of that. Jack Maloney gets the goal, credits to him, but I really think it was an error from Evandro. Let's see what happened here in the replay. Maloney. Oh, see, Evandro should have saved it. I think he just kind of headed it in off his face, to be honest with you. That's a terrible mistake from the goalkeeper. And that was just a fuck up, really. Disappointing to be 1-1, considering what an error that was. I'm a goalkeeper, and I don't have any sympathy for that. That was absolutely appalling. Good for me, though. The lads have responded well to the team talk. Let's see if we can get off to a good start in the second half. Alright, so about 60 minutes in, time to make a change or two. Let's bring off Gillespie. He's having a pretty poor game so far, and let's bring on Lee Unlove instead. Let's also bring off Corby Moore, and I'm going to play Bell Baggy in the attacking midfield role. It's not natural to that role, but I am retraining him for that position, and I think he could do pretty well there. He has all the right attributes to be a pretty talented attacking playmaker. So let's see if we can make the difference in the last 30 minutes of the game. Ruby to Bell Baggy, as I mentioned. Good interception there. Wakefield to Granger. Granger, Bell Baggy. Bell Baggy keeps the ball well. Cooper to Connolly. King does well to make the clearance. Sets up a counter-attack opportunity here for Concord. Maloney is going to buy his man into the box. Good save from Evandro with his legs, and the ball is put behind by, I think, Ruby. And here's another chance from the corner. Let's see if we can do better at this one. Ball's cleared by Sakuna. Crawley to Collins. Collins shoots to the end of the area, and well save from Evandro. Alright, here's a chance maybe for Concord on the counter-attack. Maloney is again, he's been a real thorn on our side all day. Maloney's gone by his man, hit the side netting. That was a good opportunity for Jack Maloney. He has been an absolute pain in their ass all day long. And here's maybe another chance for Concord. Collins gets to the byline, whips it in, well clear from Sakuna. Della Verde hits at the edge of the area, well deflected. And Evandro's going to hit it forward to absolutely no one. The attack is not done yet, though. Corley plays it to Stokes. Stokes to Corley. Good interception from Wakefield, and Slocum will hopefully start a counter-attack here. Again, the ball goes forward. Only fouls a left-back who boots it back forward. Ruby can't win it in the air. Good tackle, though, with Swarman in the middle of the park. That's really nice to see. Granger plays it to Unlove. Unlove's through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper. Shoots, and good save from Gledhill. That was a good opportunity for Lee Unlove to maybe get the game winner. Good opportunity. Really should have taken it. Ball's booted clear, and Evandro scoops it up. Here's a chance, maybe, from the maybe set up a counter-attack. Evandro hits it long to absolutely no one. What kind of distribution was that? That's terrible. Della Verde plays to Maloney's through on goal, and the ball goes past Evandro into the back of the net. Jack Maloney gets a second goal of the game. I don't know how Evandro didn't save that one either. That was a poor distribution to give the ball away, and Maloney is through on goal. Take a look at the highlights. Yep, and Evandro messes up once again. Obviously, we're going to expect a lot of goalkeeping errors at this level, but two in the same game in that fashion is pretty much unacceptable. Alright, so let's make a quick change. Let's see if we can freshen things up. I don't know who to bring on. Paulie Gleason aren't really attacking players. I might just have to switch to an attacking style and see if we can pull one back. But obviously losing the game on two goalkeeping errors is pretty disappointing. Belbaghi gives it away to Stokes. Corley to Maloney, shoots, and that's his hat-trick. It is 3-1, and that'll probably kill the game, unfortunately. Maloney gets his hat-trick. Well-deserved. He's been playing really well today. That's his 14th goal of the season. Corley to Maloney, And this time Evandro had absolutely no chance. Can't blame him for that one. Here's maybe an opportunity to get one goal back, maybe with a consolation. Brian to Wakefield to Belbaghi. Cooper looks for Connolly, can't get him the ball. Cooper to Granger. Granger, Belbaghi to Unlove. Unlove to Connolly. Shoots, good save from Gledhill. Kind of makes you think what would have happened there if Unlove took that chance when he went through and 1-1 with the keeper. Would have been 2-1 to us, and that would have been maybe a completely different game. Alright, so one move added on time here. Gledhood's boots at forward. Pretty much it's going to be a kind of game set match to Concord. We're just kind of just killing time right now. I've had enough, ref. You can blow the whistle, please. I don't want to go 4-1 down. That will be a little bit embarrassing, especially since it's the first time I'm using this brand new tactic. Alright, Unlove gives the ball away. That's a common trend today of us giving the ball away. And full-time whistle has blown. There's a 3-1 defeat, unfortunately. Poor display. Didn't react very well from the team talk either. And obviously a very, very poor display from Evandro in goal. So for the next game, I will be dropping him. Ammon is going to make his debut without a doubt. I just can't have him play that poorly. And obviously we can see in too many goals. So you never know, maybe a change in goalkeeper may help us in that department. So you got one more game in this episode. That's against Whitehawk at home. They currently are top of the table. It's going to be a very tough game. We'll have to see what happens in the next couple of days. Maybe I can bring in a couple of players again, try and freshen things up, because things really aren't working for us right now. So anyway, I'll jump forward a week and I'll see you guys the eve of the Whitehawk game. Okay, so here we are on the eve of the Whitehawk game at home. As I mentioned in the last last portion, Whitehawk are top of the table and they're doing pretty well. 38 points so far this season. Some very talented players. Dan Hardin right now playing really well for them. 7 assists in 24 appearances. The former Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Millwall left back is doing really well for them. Up top, Joe Nuttall's got 9 goals. Looks a very talented striker. And he's partnered alongside Kevin Lisby, who I'm sure Charlton fans will remember very, very fondly. So going into the game, there will be a couple changes to the lineup. Primarily what we're going to do is going to drop Ruby, and Dean Pooley is going to come back into the team. I'm actually going to play Sakuna as a ball-playing defender and move Pooley to a more conventional centre-half role. In midfield, I'm not going to change too much there. I thought midfield is probably our strong point, so I'm not going to try and mess around things too much there. On the bench, things will stay the same. I'm thinking about maybe not having Gleeson and instead playing someone like Ibamir. Just gives us another option. But no, I've got to keep Gleeson on now. I've got to have a defensive option just in case Cooper or Granger or Wakefield go down. Alright, so let's go on today's game. I tried to do a team talk midweek to try and kind of improve the morale of the lads. Didn't go very well, so unfortunately the squad is starting to turn on me, which usually isn't a good sign of Football Manager. It's really hard to turn things around when that happens. But we'll go in today's game with a little bit of hope. Danny Mills is actually playing ahead of Kevin Lisby. Danny Mills, yep, good striker as well. Classic all-out poacher. Frankie Sutherland is a player I recognise as well, very talented midfielder. But you know what? We've always got a hope and a prayer. Ammon is going to make his debut in goal. Let's see if he can make the difference today. And we are playing at home, so you never know what happens when you play at home. Anyway, let's start today's game. Let's try and get a win. Alright, so Brian hits the Sakuna. Now in a dangerous position here, we can't give the ball away. Wakefield hits it long, finds Gillespie. Now Gillespie gives the ball away, as I mentioned. That's something you don't want to do. Mills to Nuttall in the box, and it's gone to the back of the net, but it's going to be given offside. Yep, I could see that from a mile away. You can usually tell with the assistant manager how they react to the bottom here. It's going to be given as an offside, and that was definitely offside. But nevertheless, still not a good sign of things to come. Hardin to Sutherland. Sutherland to Driver. We're closing down very well. We're swarming them, which is good to see. Mills gets in the box, shoots, and ball goes through Ammon on his debut. It looks like a goalkeeper error. Let's take a look at the highlights to see what happens here. Obviously, highlights aren't really a good indication if it was an error or not, but looked like disappointing effort from the goalkeeper. Mills shoots, and yep, but Ammon just kind of does one of these numbers, and the ball goes in the back of the net. So disappointing to be 1-0 down. The game was pretty even until that point. Okay, Hardin here to Egan. Egan, the driver's got all the space in the world. Whips it into Mills, hits the crossbar, and that was very, very close to being 2-0 down. They really are knocking at the door. I'll be surprised if we can hold on till halftime. Alright, halftime whistle has blown, and we are 1-0 down, and pretty fortunate to be so as well. Whitehawk have really taken us to the cleaners. We aren't playing very well from back to front. There's not really many changes I can make, those try and freshen things up. I'm actually going to move Corby Moore to the midfield role, born midfielder. Going to bring off Granger. I'm going to bring on... I'm going to do Balbaghi again in the attacking midfield role. I moved Corby Moore back there just because he's a bit better player than James Granger, so I'm hoping he can shore up the midfield a little bit, be a bit more competitive in there. And yeah, we'll go with that. That's happy with those changes. Let's go into the second half. I'm going to keep things as they were just for now. However, obviously, this is a new tactic, so I'm trying to ease the team into it a little bit. I'm not going to try and change two things. I might confuse them. Alright, here's maybe a chance. Poole to Wakefield. Wakefield gives it out wide to Brian. To Cooper. Cooper plays it to Brian again. Balbaghi to Connolly. Connolly puts the Cooper in the box. Back post to Gillespie. And Driver makes a great clearance there. Gillespie was honing in on that. Looking for his 15th goal of the season. Here's a counter-attack for Whitehawk, though. Mills is brought down by Slocum, who's already on a yellow card. Don't tell me that's a red card. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a second yellow for Martin Slocum. He has been sent off early in the second half. And unfortunately, that kind of throws all our plans out of the window now. So we're going to have to make some unfortunate changes. I just put Balbaghi on. I don't want to take him off. But I feel like I'm going to have to. I'm going to bring off Gillespie. Connolly's going to play up top with Balbaghi. And then at left back, I don't know... I guess Sakuna? Yeah, I guess Sakuna's going to play left back. And Matt Ruby's going to go play middle of defense. So disappointing, obviously, that puts a lot of our plans in disarray. But it is only 1-0, so you never know what's going to happen. We still are in this game. Sutherland whips it in. Danny Mills hit the crossbar once again. That's the second time he's hit the crossbar. He's been a little thorn on our sides all game long. Very talented striker, obviously. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Maybe get him on a free transfer. Alright, Sutherland's going to hover over the free kick. Sakuna makes a necessary clearance, only as far as Egan. Egan to Marimon to Torres. Good tackle from Wakefield. He's on a yellow card, he's got to be careful. Nuttall plays it back to Reed. Reed has all the space in the world. Whips it in, and good take from Ammon. Alright, so he's then got two options up top. And he gives it away to Driver, so that's not the option I wanted. Mills is through on goal, shoots and scores. It is 2-0 to Whitehawk. Danny Mill gets his 12th goal of the season, and they are completely in control. I'm going to slip to a counter-attacking style, try and do some damage control, because otherwise this could turn into a riot really quickly. Let's be out wide to Scales, to Egan. Egan to Scales, puts it back to Mills, to Nuttall, who makes it 3-0 and in the 57th minute of the game. Oh no, this is going to go badly again. Unfortunately, I think it's you guys. You know what? I think when I do a video, the team just kind of folds under pressure. Alright, so let me see, 65 minutes in, let's make a change. Let's bring off somebody who's tired. Let's bring off Connolly and just play Unlove. Play him as a poacher as well. Balbaghi, we can probably move him to a defensive forward. Doesn't really matter. We'll see what happens in the last 25 minutes of the game, but as I mentioned, the game is pretty much dead in the water. This result will currently leave us 19th in the table, just one place above the relegation zone. Obviously not ideal. It's kind of amazing, since the first 5 games of the season we were unbeaten, but now we're kind of free-falling, and that's not a good thing if I want to try and keep my job and keep this save going. Alright, Sutherland to Lawton, back to Scales, Danny Mills at the edge of the area. Scales whips it into Lisby and hit the crossbar once again. That's the third time I hit the crossbar today. It's only 3-0, but it probably should have been 6. Balbaghi leads a counter-attack to Corby Moore. Corby Moore shoots and into the side netting. That was probably our best chance of the game to try and save face a little bit. Alright, so injury time is over. Sutherland's going to whip this in, and of course Mills gets a hat-trick as time expires. 4-0 to Whitehawk. I imagine we're going to kick off, and then it's going to be the final whistle. Obviously, Ellie Mills gets his hat-trick today. He's been worth it, every penny of it. Ammon looking to the sky, going, it wasn't my fault, but quite clearly, not exactly good goalkeeping either. Unlove to Wakefield, that should be it, referee. Yep, there it is. Full-time whistle blows at Tattenham, losing 4-0 at home to the league leaders. Whitehawk is very disappointing. As you can see, the body language of the guys is not very encouraging. Things are not going as planned. Alright, so that wraps up this episode. Naturally, very, very disappointed at how things are going so far. We've actually also been fined because of the players receiving 6 yellow cards in that game. And that's going to lead us up to a very tough run of fixtures. Dartford, Worldstone, Gosport twice. Those are winnable games. And then Eastbourne as well. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and skip to we'll do Gosport at home and then Eastbourne away. We'll do those 2 games next up if I still have my job, obviously, because if this run of form continues, it's unlikely the board is going to stay with me. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to do some maybe some magic in the transfer market, maybe tweak the tactic a little more, because obviously they didn't really work against Concord and Whitehawk, so I'm going to have to tweak it just a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the comments below, I'd like to see what you think about the new tactic. Obviously, don't judge it off the results. How do you think the boys are going to play in the current system and style? If you have any tips, tricks, let me know. I'm interested to hear them. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.